Well, hello doodle friends, and welcome back to the doghouse. If you're new here, my name is Beth and I raise multi-generation golden doodle puppies. Well, if you've been following me for a while, you know that this summer I have been spreading out my longer format videos to like every 2 to 3 weeks. It's just because there's not a whole lot going on right now because we are currently in between litters. But Ivy and Lulu both went into heat within about 11 or 12 days of each other. And so they have both been bred, and we will find out if they're pregnant probably in another 2 weeks or so. And so by the time I make my next video, I should have the results of those and let you know if they are indeed pregnant. So in the meantime, I'm gonna have my regular 5 dogs out in the video, probably wandering around. I've got 2 medium-sized golden doodles. This is Harper and Maisie. And then I have my 2 older videos. Come here, Lulu and Ivy, which are the cream colored doodles. There's Lulu. And then of course we have Grandpa Great Dane, who I think is taking a nap right now. He's a 10-year-old Great Dane. He's sort of the grandpa of the group, the only male I have in the house as far as dogs go. And he's gonna be probably napping in the background. So this is Lulu. So with all of that said, today's topic we are gonna get into is pretty serious one actually, and I'm gonna be a little vulnerable because I'm gonna be speaking a lot from personal experience, and that is puppy scammers. It's something I haven't really talked much about in my previous videos, so I really wanted to just sort of dedicate a video to talk about who these people are, what they're after, how to spot them, and how to not get caught up in their web of lies. So I want to make sure that we are all well educated on scammers and protecting ourselves. So let's go ahead and dive into today's video. So I went ahead and moved over to the couch so that we can have our chat. I've got my coffee, and this way the dogs can come up and visit while we're chatting, and you can see them in the background so you don't have just me to look at for the whole video. That's boring. So let's go ahead and dive in. I know that, scammers, everyone's aware that they're out there, right? And I don't want anyone to ever feel bad that they got taken in by a scammer. Scammers today in all the genres, romance, medical, tech support, you name it, there's a scammer out there. If they can get money from you, there's a scam. I don't want anyone to feel bad if you've been taken in by them because they are hard to spot sometimes. And they make everything, they prey on your emotions, they prey on your fear, they prey on everything so that you are very vulnerable to wanting to make everything right and give them money and just fix whatever problem they're saying that there is or what have you. So it's very, very hard out there in the world to be a trusting person and to not fall prey to some of these scams. So I don't want anyone to feel bad, but let's go ahead and learn from my mistakes. I have been scammed in the puppy world only. I'm only gonna talk about puppy world today. No less than 3 times. I had 3 very different scammers scam me over the years with dogs specifically. And so I would like to share those 3 stories with you today so that we can all kind of just help learn from each other and learn how to do our due diligence in protecting ourselves and our loved ones from these scammers. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. The first time I was scammed was years ago. This is at least 3-4 years ago. I was in the market for a male doodle. I really loved the idea of getting a doodle. This would be my first dog after Barkley. Barkley is our 10-year-old Great Dane, and I really wanted to get into doodles because I had met some doodles, some friends had them, and I was really interested in them because I do have an allergy to dogs, and I'm a bit of a neat freak, and so I promised myself the next dog we get, they're not gonna shed, blah, 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 blah. So you know how that goes. So I wanted a doodle. Anyways, so where did I go? This was before I knew anything. I went to Craigslist because I thought, well, if I go to a breeder, I don't want to really spend money. How do you pick a good breeder? I hear about all these horror stories about these backyard breeders and they're doing this and they're doing that and they're keeping them in cages and how do you know? And so I didn't know. And so I went to Craigslist thinking that would be better. And I went online. I saw some pictures of these cute little doodles, of course, that someone had like an accidental litter or whatever, however they phrase it. And they promised me that it was a golden doodle, which means half or part golden retriever and part poodle. And that was the combination I was really looking for, because that was what I had seen with my friends and some other people I had met. And so I really liked that look. I liked that temperament, and I really thought that was the dog that I wanted. So the first scam was a mild scam. It's probably something that we've all been have all faced, you know, in the puppy world. And that is just that it was not a doodle. It was not a golden doodle. It was part poodle, but it was not a golden doodle. And how did I find out? Well, I went ahead and did a DNA test, because he had a funny shape to him when I saw him in person. And here's some red flags. That number one, I started on Craigslist. Don't go to Craigslist. You know, I'm sure you can find very kind, nice people selling their dogs on Craigslist, but you know, only if you go in person and see them and meet them and all of that, then I would say that would be okay. But otherwise, I would not do that. Number two, I met them not at their home. I did not meet the parents, so I couldn't see if this little dog was truly a golden doodle. So I didn't meet the parents of the dog. I didn't meet them at their home. We met in the middle because they lived in Tempe and we live closer to Phoenix. And so we met in the middle, and that way we both didn't have too far to drive. And so literally we're in like a CVS parking lot and we're looking at this dog. And of course I brought the children and we were all like, oh my gosh, he's so cute, because it's a puppy. Puppies are adorable. So we had already driven a ways. He looked adorable. He was the dog in the picture. So I was like, okay, well, that's great. And I asked some questions and we chatted for a bit and we decided, yep, we're going to go ahead and take him. And we brought him home. I was like, you know, he's very small. He was a super, super small dog. And I thought, you know, I wonder if he really is a doodle. So I went ahead and did his DNA, because I also didn't know about his health history or anything like that. So I did a DNA, the Embark, which I've shown how to do on this channel. And it came back, he was not only not a doodle, he was like a mix of 5 or 6 different things. He was part Bichon, part poodle, no golden in him at all. He had Chihuahua in him. He was part Chihuahua, part other things, but his face did look doodly because of the poodle that was in him. And so that's what got me. Anyways, so this is sort of a mild scam where someone is selling something, saying it is something that it's not. So I paid a golden doodle price for a dog that was more not a doodle, what was more of a really big mixed breed dog. And so it didn't have the characteristics I was looking for, which is fine. You know, if you're being discerning and you want something, you're going to want to definitely check their DNA. You're going to want to meet the parents. You're going to want to make sure that it was bred well. So these are the things that I did not do. And so I got scammed, and that's fine. And actually, you don't see that little dog here because my mom fell in love with this dog. It was exactly the size and color and all the things that she was looking for in a dog at the same time as me. And so she ended up loving little Oliver. His name is Oliver. And she went ahead and she dog sat for me for a long time. And then she fell in love with it, and my brother fell in love with it. And so honestly, it was the best thing. I said, you know what? You can have Oliver. We haven't attached ourselves to him yet. And if you know, so I let her take Oliver over because I had my heart set on a doodle. If she were not interested, we of course would have kept Oliver. I'm not trying to throw away dogs here. This is just happened to be, it worked out really perfectly that my mom fell in love with this dog and it was the exact size that she wanted. And so she took him and he lives at her house and we get to still see him all the time. So little Oliver has a home. Okay, that was my first scam. Then, not long after, I decided to just go through breeders. And I called this one. They had great pictures of their dogs. And I talked to them via text message, which is fine. And they said, yep, they've got the dogs. They showed me the pictures, and I said, those are beautiful dogs, da, da, da. Can we come look at them? Because I wanted to come to their home, and I wanted to meet the parents because I had learned, and I wanted to really see, is this a doodle? And also I wanted to meet the breeder and just see their setup and see if I really meshed well with, you know, how they were doing things, you know what I mean? So I wanted to support a good breeder. So I got the information, and so I went ahead and got the address, and then while we were texting, he said, you know what, the puppies are going really fast. I highly recommend you pay a deposit because they may not be here when you arrive because they're really going fast. Really going fast. Okay, so that was a red flag. So anybody who's asking you for money before you go and see the dogs is, you know, I'm not going to say that they're not a reputable breeder, because some breeders do have you pay money to go on their wait list, and that's fine, and that's very common to pay to be on their wait list, but you need to make sure that they're an actual breeder and that they actually have dogs. So so you want to make sure that you've FaceTimed with them perhaps and seen their setup and their surroundings and where their dogs are. You could do that before you put money down. If they have a YouTube channel that you follow, you can pretty much tell that they're legit. If they're going through all the trouble of making a YouTube channel, they're legit. If you check out their website, check out if they have any references, check them out before you give anybody any money. So we were texting, and this new scam was basically they wanted a big deposit to hold my spot to, they wanted like $500 or $600 for a deposit. And so I was like, oh yeah, no. At least I didn't lose any money, because I did not do that. I had learned, and I really wanted, and I said, you know what? If when we get there, you are out of puppies, literally I was going the next day. I said, then it's not meant to be, and that's okay, and then we'll move on. And so they were like, all right, well, here's the address, and that's completely up to you. I'm not going to force you to, but just so you know, they are going fast. And I was like, okay, whatever that means. All right. So the next day we load up into the car with my youngest daughter, who was a teenager at the time. She wasn't like a little tiny girl, but we were excited to go look at puppies. So I get the address, and we pull up and we show up at the door. It was about an hour and a half away. So it was a drive. And we get to the door, we ring the bell, and the woman comes to the door, and she has no idea what we're talking about. And I checked the address. Yep, we've got the address. I asked her, this is the address, and she had no clue. And so this person wanted a deposit to be sent, and they had no puppies. There was no business that they were doing. It was just a full-on scam to get that deposit. And so we left a little brokenhearted, but we learned some more about how we need to really see those puppies on FaceTime. We need to make sure that these are real breeders. Check out if they have a website. Check out if they have any other pictures. Someone must be walking their dog in front of our window. And also just, double check that they're real people with real dogs. It was great that we didn't give them money, but it was still heartbreaking because we had so looked forward to meeting these dogs, and I had fallen in love with their pictures online. And so, it was still a heartbreak, and I felt really, really dumb that I had fallen for this, but I felt good that I had at least learned and that I did not give them any money. So that was the big thing. It was just a bit of a heartbreak and a little bit of gas money, and that was it. And I was like, ugh, and I'm texting them in the car, that was very unkind. I disapprove, you should be ashamed of yourself. And of course they didn't respond because the gig was up and that was it. They're on to the next. So, and that was also years ago, and they are long gone, so I can't even tell you not to go through them because I don't even remember who it was or anything like that. But so that was my second scam. And then comes my most recent scam, which was just last year. It was about a year and a half ago. Yeah, it was the beginning of last year. I was now a breeder myself, which all of this stuff that I had gone through sort of also spurred on part part of the reason why I became a breeder myself was because I really fell in love with the dogs, and I wanted to be able to be a good resource for other people who were really interested in getting a doodle. I started following some content creators on YouTube, and they were breeders, and I really looked into it and I researched it, and I was really excited to, you know what, this I really feel was like my calling. I felt really passionate about doing it the right way, about, trying to get a good name out there for some breeders who really do it the right way and who really love and care for these animals, who are not overbreeding, who are just, trying to meet the demands. Speaking of demands, someone's demanding some attention over here. So this was all like sort of my experience with these scammers it was part of the reason, not the whole reason, but it was really part of the reason I really wanted to do this in life. I think it was all leading up to my new career here. So anyways, the third time I was scammed. Are we ready? Let's take a drink of coffee because this is a doozy. My goodness. I'm still facing the backlash of this final scam today. And it's one of my worst scams to date. And I'm hoping that it's my final one and that, I've learned all that I can to impart all of this wisdom for you guys. So hold on. Hello. Okay. So the final scam. Are we ready? I'm now officially a dog breeder. Very early days, but I'm a dog breeder. I'm starting to make some videos. I'm starting to do some content because I wanted a way to show people that I'm a real person, that I have real dogs. Here's my home. Here's where they're raised, just so you can like literally lay it out all on the table. Like, this is where I raise my dogs, and you can see how many I have. They're literally in my house. They're not in the backyard being, mistreated or anything like that. So with all that said, I start my YouTube and I'm trying to market, like where is a good place to market? Obviously not Craigslist or anything like that. I created a website. It's not very good if you look at my website. It's, I'm not a computer tech person. I'm an English major, so this was not my forte. I'm not a computer person. Anyway, so my website's very kind of DIY. But I had the YouTube and I had my website, and I'm like, but I want to make sure that I'm reaching people so they know about me and they know where to find me. And so I went to Facebook because that's my generation. We go to Facebook. And so I saw some breeders online, and I saw this one, and it was an older woman, and she looked like she had been a breeder for years and years and years. This was her lifelong whatever. And people would write in and comment like, oh, I only get my dog from her. She screens other breeders to sell through her page, so that because she has a big following. And so it was, or at least she seemed to. And so I thought, well, it would be great if, sorry, the camera's moving. I've got a little dog next to the stand that you're on. Hi, hello, Harper, come over here. Hi. Hi, Maisie. Maisie and Harper are coming over. Okay, so, not up top. So, I got in touch with her and I said, hi, I would love it if, we could work together. You have a great following on YouTube, and it looks like people really trust where your puppies are coming from and the breeders that you work with, because it seems like you really vet them well and all of that. And I thought maybe we could kind of partner because I was just starting out. Anyhow, so we start texting via Messenger, because it's Facebook, we use Messenger. So she was receptive to my request, and she wanted some information about me, which was great. And so I'm thinking this is the process. Again, I'm new to the whole breeding world at this time. And so some of the things she asked me to do were questionable, but I thought, this must be why she's so good, because she's, asking for all of this information about me. So she asked me to make a video with my driver's license and to say, I am a real person, I am a breeder, I stand by my word that I am raising my dogs in a loving fashion, and like a promise, like almost like a pledge. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting, but I'll do it. I did a quick little video and sent it to her. And then they said, okay, now I'd like a video of you with your dogs, because I need to know that you really have dogs. And if you can get like your setup in the background, that would be great, because people are gonna wanna see the setup of the dogs and So I did that. I did a little video. Here are my dogs. My name is Beth, Here's what I have. This is my current litter, blah, 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 blah. Fine. And then that was it. And then, we went back and forth for a few more questions, blah, 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 blah. And then that was kind of all I had heard. And so then I was waiting for approval. And so I waited a few weeks, and she said it could take a while, Okay. Then I get a message from someone that says, I think I just got scammed. Someone's using your pictures or video of you and trying to sell puppies, and they don't really have puppies. And I said, and my heart sunk. What I had just realized in that moment is, oh my God, someone found my videos. They're out there for the world saying that I'm a legitimate person, and they're using me to scam money out of other people. This is the exact opposite of what I was going for. This still haunts me to this day. I get maybe 1 or 2 people a year that will contact me and say, hey, there's a scammer on Facebook and they're using your picture and image. The only reason I know they're a scammer is because I looked you up. And I know that you're a real dog breeder, but they are not. And this is a different page, and they're using your name and your pictures and your whatever. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. So I went on my Facebook page and I put an immediate scammer alert. There are scammers using my info. I tried to find them. I found one of them and I was immediately blocked. I've reported a couple of pages to Facebook. They don't really do very much, and I'm always immediately blocked by the scammer once I start fishing around. And the other people that have contacted me have also reported them. And so these pages are getting put up and taken down all over the place. I know that there are a couple of people who gave them money and then never saw a dog. And so this one breaks my heart, because they're literally using me, my face, my image, my words, against other people, and they're hurting other people with it. And so it's really, really heartbreaking, but there's nothing that I can personally do about it. And so I have to just live with the fact that I gave them the info and I tried to do my due diligence. And by doing that, I failed because I was scammed. So in an effort to not be a scammer, I ended up being the face of some of these other scammers. And so that's really, really heartbreaking. And so I'm hoping that with this video, I can share some tips to not get scammed. So enough about all of that. Let's talk about what you should do when you're going to buy a dog. So number 1, definitely, obviously, check out your breeder. When you contact them, can you FaceTime them? You want to see the person you're talking to in real time, and you want to see the puppies in real time. Show me your setup. Show me everything. Okay, great. And then obviously if they have a website, it would be great to just kind of gives them a little bit of legitimacy. Not that anybody couldn't make up a website, but it helps to show their past puppies, perhaps some testimonials, things like that you want to check out. Maybe they have references or what have you. Next, you want to go visit them in person. Now, if you're far away and you want to fly in and you're going to do a flight nanny, I understand that's not always an option, but then I definitely think you need to be asking for a FaceTime call, and possibly several FaceTime calls. If it's early days and the puppy's only 4 weeks old, you've got another at least 4 or 5 weeks before you can get the puppy, because they can't leave mama until they're at least 8 weeks old. Then you're going to want a weekly call in, make sure that they're, legit, you're going to want to only once you verify they are real, there are puppies there, you're good to go. If you're able to visit them, fantastic, because you're also going to want to play with the puppies, make sure you get the right temperament and all of that. Then you can give them a deposit if it's required, or if they're already ready to go home, you can just pay the whole thing, of course. But yeah, no money should ever leave your bank account unless you are 1000% sure that they are legitimate and that they've proven that they actually have the puppies. So what happens if they show you a video? You don't want a video, you want live. So these scammers are sending videos to people like, here, I have a video of myself, or here, let me just do a quick video and I'll send it over to you. No, you don't want a video. You want to speak to them live in person. You want to hear their voice. You want to see their dogs. You want a live video, not just send me a video of, hey, my name is Beth, I'm a legitimate breeder, blah, 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 blah. No, that does you no good, because clearly they can get these videos from anywhere. And I don't know how many other breeders have fallen for this. So, or people who are selling dogs. So you want to always make sure that you see them live and meet them in person, obviously. Another way to avoid puppy scams is scammers will often play on your sense of urgency too, because when you're buying a puppy, they will often say, all right, well, you need to pay me quickly, or you need to pay me maybe not in a traditional sense. So if they're asking for a rushed purchase or an unusual payment method, those are red flags. You want to make sure that you avoid that. Also, if the dog is really cheap, this is a hard one. If you're going for a specific breed from a breeder, expect to pay some money for your dog. Just for transparency, I charge a pretty median rate for my dogs. They are currently $2,400 for a puppy, which is a lot of money. But literally, I have breeders around me that are charging for the same breed up to $3,500. So there's a wide range, and I've met people who are charging $1,800. There is a wide range of prices for these dogs. If you are getting like a golden doodle, because that's what I can speak to, and they're charging $800, I would be questioning their motives for selling that dog so cheaply, because it takes a lot of work, time, energy, money to be a good breeder. Now, if it was an accidental litter and this person is just trying to, cover their expenses and scoot these pups off, and they're not really a breeder, I can kind of see where that might happen. And, so again, verify and do all the things that we talked about before you purchase it, because that's still a lot of money. But I would be wary, because golden doodles especially are typically a couple of $1,000s at least, and can go up to $4,000 or so, $3,500, $4,000 I've seen. So you really want to make sure, I charge a median rate because I want to be compensated for my time, energy, effort, all of the costs that go with it. And I also want to make sure that the person who's buying my doodles are a very serious buyer as well, which sounds funny, but I want to make sure that they're making a big decision and they have to think about it. I want the price to reflect some of their thought. Like, am I willing to make this commitment to a dog that's going to be in my house for 15 years at least? Well, maybe not at least, but up to 15 years-ish. And can I take care of this dog? Can I afford this dog? And the first thing to afford is the price of the dog, because there's going to be vet bills and dog food and care and toys and all the things that go with it. Owning a dog is like owning, a child. It is a lot of money. And so I want my price to also reflect the commitment on my buyer's side, to say, yes, I am willing to make this commitment and to spend what I need to spend to take care of this dog the proper way. So I feel like that's a good price. Now, it's been that price for a couple of years now, and that's not to say I might not raise them in the future, but a little bit. But right now my price is $2,400, and so that is also just a consideration for scammers, because they just want money here and there. if you have an imaginary litter, you can sell 100 dogs. You're not waiting for the next litter because they don't exist. And so you're just trying to get those deposits. A deposit might be $400. A deposit might be $800. You don't know. So it's such a wide range of prices, and you just have to make sure that you are speaking to a legitimate breeder and that you are not giving any money over until you're absolutely ready and you're secure in the fact that this is a real person. So my final takeaway, now that I've talked your ear off about scammers and all of my mistakes that I've made, is what are some good places to look for? Now, if you can look on YouTube for people who are documenting their journey, because there's plenty of great content creators out there who do this for a living and are very passionate about it and are documenting it in videos like me. Some places that you can go to online are Good Dog. Good Dog is one of the top ones. Good Dog vets their breeders pretty well. They have a system in place, and I am on Good Dog. They ask a series of questions and they get all this information from you. And so they're checking you out to make sure that you are eligible to be put on their website as a breeder. So Good Dog, 2 words, but I think it's just gooddog.com. I'm not really sure, but you can look it up on Google. The American Kennel Club Marketplace also has breeders. Those are going to probably be more for purebred dogs. The American Kennel Club, AKC, only deals with pure breeds. So you wouldn't find a golden doodle on that marketplace probably, because a golden doodle is not considered a pure breed dog. And that's why you'll never see a golden doodle with an AKC registry, because they're 2 breeds mixed together. So the AKC. But if you're looking for a purebred dog, the AKC Marketplace, I believe, is also another great place to look. And then there are other ones. I think there's one called petfinder.com. I believe that one's pretty good, but check that one out before. I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying I know that was one that I've always come across. To my knowledge, there isn't a single universally maintained scammer list, because scammers, once they're found out, they will rotate out and just start something new. I don't think it's possible to have a list of puppy scammers out there, because they come and go so quickly under different names. And so to my knowledge, I don't know that if there is one. I would doubt that there is one. It's very, very sad that today we have to deal with all of these scammers, but hopefully together we can share our experiences so that we can all learn from others' mistakes, and just help each other out and make sure that we're as safeguarded as possible in today's world. That's really hard, I know. In the end, it's really up to you to just do your due diligence and make sure that you're visiting these people in person before you hand over anybody. Done. That's my lecture series for today. So anyways, I hope you found this video useful. I wish you all very good luck out there. And I think we're going to go ahead and end the video here. So thank you all so much for joining me today. Hopefully by the next video, we'll have some good news. We'll see if either of the pups are pregnant, Lulu or Ivy. And we will, then if they are, I'll go ahead and throw out the dates of all of that exciting news for when we're going to be expecting our new litters, if we are. So if you liked today's video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that way we could all spend some more time together. In the meantime, we hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.